What's up, everybody? Good afternoon. Hope you guys are doing well. And we've got another offensive coordinator to take a look at here. And this is another one that I actually think should be intriguing to Seahawks fans. I know that we're pretty late in this whole process. I know that we've spent a lot of time going through guys that are unlikely to get the position. So it might seem a little bit weird that we're talking about guys that are actually intriguing and serious candidates now. But again, I didn't want to front load it. I didn't want everybody that we talked about in the first part to be the good ones, and then everybody at the back end would just be like uninteresting. I wanted to mix it up a little bit, and that leaves us with somebody like Matt Nagy near the end of the series. And Nagy doesn't have the greatest reputation in the world. I don't think that Seahawks fans would be over the moon to get him, but Matt Nagy does check a lot of the boxes. Matt Nagy has done some pretty good things in this league. Matt Nagy has proven that he's probably not quite cut out to be a head coach, but he is capable of being an offensive coordinator. He does have some experience calling plays at the NFL level. Some of that wasn't great, but some of it was pretty good. And he comes from a good tree. He's been under one of the best head coaches in NFL history for a long time. And he's not somebody you would ever have to worry about losing, right? If Matt Nagy were your offensive coordinator and he has an incredible year in 2025, it's very unlikely anybody would hire him to be a head coach because he already kind of burned that opportunity with what he did in Chicago. But that what he did in Chicago is probably going to be an issue as we're trying to convince people that this would be a good hire. And I do think it'd be a pretty good hire. Not my favorite, but intriguing. So let's talk about his resume. But before we do that, please like this video if you haven't already. Subscribe if you're new. Click the bell for notifications. Become a channel member for $2 a month. Those are the best ways to support the channel. So Matt Nagy, currently 46 years old. He's been with the Chiefs these last 3 years, which, hey, that's 2 Super Bowls, maybe 3 coming up here. We'll see. So that's good. But it is of note that the last 2 years he's been the offensive coordinator, 23 and 24. And the Chiefs offense has been about average to a little above average. This most recent year, they were 15th in points scored, 22 and a half. 0.071 EPA per play is good. That's 9th. Year before that, they were 15th again. Not even 22 points per game. 0.021 EPA per play, which is 11th. Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and that offensive line, and you're barely above average in these 2 metrics. Now, look, it's Andy Reid's show. Andy Reid is ultimately the guy who runs the offense in Kansas City. And Matt Nagy's probably just there to hold a clipboard and learn and try to pick up on some knowledge that he can utilize at his next stop. But at the same time, it is worth noting that the Chiefs have been unable to find their magic offensively since Nagy took over as the OC. And the year prior, 2022, when Nagy was just the senior assistant on offense and the quarterback's coach, the Chiefs' offense was number 1 in the league. In points, they averaged over 29 points a game and almost 0.18 EPA per play first. They were first in both categories. So there are a lot of different reasons why this is. The Chiefs have not done a great job with their replenishing their wide receiver room. They've really struggled to find guys that are really genuinely good at that position. It's not Nagy, but it is interesting to note that as soon as he became the OC, the Chiefs offense became a little bit more in the realm of above average than elite. Now, he was the quarterback coach in 2022, and Mahomes had a great year. 5,300 yards, 41 touchdowns, 12 picks, 67 completion percentage, 105 rating, ran for about 360 yards. So that's good, but it's Patrick Mahomes. It's not like the quarterback coach is the guy making him play good. At least you wouldn't think so. Mahomes has had better seasons than that without Matt Nagy even being on the staff. So read into that as you will. Your mileage may vary. We have his 4 years as a head coach. Before this, he was the head coach for the Bears for 4 years, and the results were pretty bad. The Bears did make the playoffs twice. They didn't win a game. They did have one really good season, 12-4 his first year. I think Nagy even won Coach of the Year, but other than that, 8-8, 8-8, 6-11, and he's out of there. And the last 3 years he was there, the offense was bad. Occasionally, it was really bad. Like 2 of these years, they had one of the worst offenses in the league. 2020, the offense was bad, but not quite terrible. And they had one good year of offense in 2018. They were ninth in points scored, 26.3, and .039 EPA was 13th. I mean, that's good. That's pretty good. It's not anything that I would write home about. I mean, he did get good play out of Mitchell Trubisky for a short period of time, but I think it is worth noting that he never really found his quarterback. That's probably a big part of the problem here. He had Trubisky, and there were a couple of different backups that swung in and out. I think Chase Daniel was there for a while. Nick Foles was there for a while. And, well, there you go. Can't find your quarterback, probably not going to be able to put together great offenses. Not everybody's Andy Reid. Andy Reid can put together a good offense without having a notable quarterback, but Nagy is just an Andy Reid offshoot. Now, if you go back to before his time with the Bears, he's again with the Chiefs. Remember, he's an Andy Reid guy, and basically all of his experience, other than his Bear stint, is under Andy Reid. He was the offensive coordinator for 2 years before going to Chicago, 16 and 17. This was the Alex Smith Chiefs team. 2017, they had a really good offense, 26 points per game, sixth in the league. And then the year before that, they were a little above average, 24.3. So good, I guess. But again, it's Andy Reid's show. And Matt Nagy is not calling plays. To my knowledge, he did call plays for the Bears, which is why I said earlier that he does have play calling experience in this league, and some of it's decent. But he's not calling plays for the Chiefs, not with Andy Reid there. In the 3 years prior to that, when Andy Reid first got to Kansas City, he was the quarterback coach. And hey, Alex Smith went from a very, very forgettable game manager quarterback to a viable, I don't want to say franchise quarterback, but very close to a franchise quarterback. Alex Smith with the 49ers was never able to find his footing and was mostly just bad. And they turned him into a decent game manager for a bit there. But when he got to the Chiefs, he was a lot more explosive and a lot more capable of leading an offense. So these 3 years, about 32 to 3,500 yards these 3 years. He gives you about 18 to 23 touchdowns, 6 to 7 interceptions. Completion percentage sits in the low to mid 60s. QB ratings around the high 80s to low to mid 90s. And he gives you a little bit as a rusher as well, if you look at these numbers, of almost 500 yards in 2015. So definitely helped unlock Alex Smith. But once again, I'm going to keep saying it. This is an Andy Reid thing. This is what Andy Reid does. Matt Nagy is a footnote on what Andy Reid is doing when Andy Reid is the head coach. And before then, he spent a bunch of time in Philadelphia under Andy Reid. Spent 2 years as an offensive quality control coach from 2011 to 2012. 2012 was a terrible year. This was the year that got Reid out of Philadelphia. Eagles had a terrible team, 17.5 points per game, 29th in the country. League. I don't know. I keep saying country because I have college football stuff on the brain. The year before, the offense was good. 2011, eighth in the league, 25 points per game about. So that's good, I guess. Remember, he's just an offensive quality control coach at this point. 2010, this was a good year for the Eagles offense. He was a coach's assistant. Who knows what that means, but 27.4 points per game was third. And then the 2 years prior to that, he was a coaching intern under Andy Reid, and the Eagles offense was bordering on elite both years. 26 to 27 points per game. Good stuff. And that is the Matt Nagy resume. That's all the stuff that I have. He did some stuff as a high school coach before this, but I can't really find anything about that beyond the fact that he did it. So, not going to get into that. But what I am going to get into is this. This has been a guy who's been learning under Andy Reid for probably, if you combine it all, over a decade. Over a decade. And he has head coaching experience. He has play calling experience. He has offensive coordinator experience, even if he wasn't calling plays when he was an OC. It doesn't really matter when you've been calling plays at other times. And when you put all that together, you have a guy who is probably good enough to be a good OC in this league as a play caller, is just a little overwhelmed by the head coaching stuff right now, probably. So, Matt Nagy, what do you guys think? Let me know. I'll see you guys later. Go Hawks. I only have a couple more of these videos left in me, and at that point, I'll probably just let the Seahawks interview somebody before I make a video on them. At that point, I'll just be like, well, if there's somebody I missed that the Seahawks want, I'll let the Seahawks tell me. And if they sneak a hire in that I didn't talk about until after they got hired, then I guess that's just my rotten luck. All right, everyone, have a good rest of your day. There might be another video later today. If not, I'll see you guys on Twitch tonight or maybe tomorrow. And go Hawks.